And just remind me of your role, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, I'm the head teacher of West London School.
Okay. And either you or one of your colleagues made contact with us about financial education and how
Yes, I'd heard that you've been doing some workshops in the local area. You've been in Worcester's Primary School, I think it is. And I'm just interested to learn a little bit more about what it is that you do.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So you've been speaking to Worcester, have you? By the way, mighty fine head teacher at Worcester School.
Was.
Oh, yeah. No, that's right, you're right. The former head teacher, yeah. She was particularly good, yeah, we have been working with them. In fact, we've not only work with them, but we work very, very closely with them. We're working with them as a model school. I can explain a bit more about that later. But just before we get into it, maybe you could just give me a bit of background. Is financial education something you provided in the school?
Yes, but it's something I'm really quite interested in, and I suppose my interest in it has started quite a while ago when, I've contacted local banks to try and get them in. I can't get anybody to come and talk to the children.
Really? Okay.
Lloyd's used to run like a savings scheme, and every child used to be able to have an account, and they don't run it anymore.
Right.
We made a bid to NatWest to try and get some funding to actually run a financial education programme, but we've not been successful, even though we've tried 3 times.
Right.
So I'm a little bit and I've also looked, there's quite a plethora of financial education resources out there. I'm not sure which ones to go for or how it's going to support them.
Okay. Well, it sounds as though we might well be able to help you there, actually. I mean, crucially, just before we get into what we can offer, if we were to work with you, help you and your teachers provide financial education to the children, what sort of resources? Because your teachers are really busy at the moment. I hear that there's all sorts of demands on their time. So I'm just wondering, what's the best way of working? How could we fit this in?
Your workload's a big issue,
okay.
And that's now become part of the Ofsted framework, where they're checking out teachers' workload as well. So I am conscious of not putting any additional workload on my staff. So I want something that's accessible. I want something that's easy for teachers to read, because when I look at some of the stuff on the web, there's pages and pages to read just to get to the point of what you're trying to teach. So I want something that's been used by schools successfully as well.
Well, you've already spoken to Worcester. We've got a great relationship there. I think you can confirm that. And we've worked with a number of other schools in the area and indeed nationally. We've got a couple of different models that we can use. I'll just be keen, Karen, to explore what might work best with you. We've got a workshop where we essentially look to put aside perhaps half a day, and we would come in. We provide facilitators, and we'd come in, provide the equipment. We've got the framework, etc., and the facilitators would deliver it. The advantage of that is that your teachers would be able to effectively use our resource. Obviously, they want to be there to observe and everything, but we could come in. The challenge then you'd have is putting aside that time. Alternatively, we can provide lesson plans, and the lesson plans would enable, we break that workshop down into 4, and we provide 4 lesson plans. That would enable the teachers to deliver perhaps in 4 separate lessons, the same content. So that's a different way of doing it. Perhaps the latter puts a bit more onus on the teachers. Although either way, we'd be there to work with you, support you. We want to make sure.
So if I was to say to you, I want a facilitator, and I want a facilitator to come into every class and teach a program, would you be able to provide that for me?
To be honest, we could, but whether we could provide that immediately, that might be a bit of a challenge for us, because you'll understand that that's more intensive for us. We've got a number of facilitators, but we'd have to just look at the availability of the facilitators. So the sort of latter approach, we could definitely work with you immediately, no doubt about that.
Because I don't want something that's just a one-off. I want to try and embed something in my school. So how does that?
Well, I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
Because we don't want one-offs either. The last thing we want engaged schools, because what we see is that if we're working with you, we don't see this as we come in and deliver it to a class, go out. We'd be looking to first of all continue that, see that as a first step, providing perhaps more children certainly as they move on in future years. But also, this is not a transactional thing for us. So we see that we're looking to make a demonstrable difference
talks about demonstrable difference.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
Well, that's very good.
I'm very impressed.
Good job I did my homework. So,
yeah, one of the things, we ran a workshop probably a couple of years ago, and everybody really enjoyed it, but then it didn't go anywhere after that. And one of the things I noticed also was, you know, we had in the staff room, we put up lots of financial tips for our teachers during
oh really?
our
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So
That sounds good.
if anybody had a good idea, say a search engine or an energy company that was offering more favourable rates, and we did that, and that actually really created quite a good buzz around the school as well. Is that something maybe, you know, as part of this?
Well, look, one of the things that we're really keen to do, as I say, we're looking for a long-term engagement here, and we're looking for you to be engaged with us and us with you. And for us, we've got the offering which we can provide you, but we would be looking to develop our offerings over the coming years. So that's exactly the sort of things, and the feedback that you can give when you work with us, then we're going to use that feedback to continue to drive forward the development of our products and services. So, you know, that sounds a really good thing. Not necessarily now, but certainly.
So when can I look at these resources? What do I do next?
Okay, so what we've got the website. Have you looked at our website?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I'll jot it down for you now, but I'll follow up with an email in any case. And if you can go in there and register, and then you can have a look at it. Okay. You'll need to put aside a little bit of time, maybe half an hour, to have a look at it. I think probably crucially for you, there's this aspect of which of the options that is going to best suit for you. Incidentally, while we're talking, if you don't mind, if you were to work with us, what would you see as the success criteria? How would you sort of measure whether we've been working together with us, whether we've been successful or not?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm accountable for everything that we do, so I would need to report to my governors, but I'm looking for improved outcomes for young people.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for.
Whether
that, okay. And how will you measure that?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, ironically, you mentioned Worcester School. We've already done some significant analysis there, where we've actually shown we've worked with them long enough that we can actually show improved performance. So that's linking into improved performance in maths, for example. But as part of the engagement with you, what we would really ask of you is that you measure the impact that we're having with your children. So we look at doing a simple test when we start working with the children, and then see how their financial knowledge improves or not at the end of it. So we would be looking to produce data which hopefully will be exactly what you're looking for, but also as part of the way in which we work. So we've built up a bigger database that we can use for ourselves and other schools as well in the area. Yeah, that's right.
I suppose the only other question I want to ask you, can I have both? Can I have a facilitator and access to the Red Start resources as well?
That's
or do I have to choose one or t'other?
That's interesting. Well, I think we could. I don't see why we. It's a sort of not a normal request, but I don't see why we can't explore that as well. Actually.
So I can sign up to the website anyway, can't I?
Well, I mean, I really hope that if you're willing to invest half an hour of your time, sign up to the website, register, and have a look around. I mean, maybe we could leave it that you'll do that. I'll go away, have a bit of a reflection on what we've spoken about, and then maybe I could give you a call later in the week, and you see if we can sort of explore